the day finally has come. We will be installing a Victron Multiplus II 48 volts, and we'll install it together today. First time using, just got it shipped, and we'll be installing the cables, how you connect them or how I will connect them. We'll be connecting everything to the VenusOS installation with the Raspberry Pi, and I think that's the most interesting part for everyone else here. We'll go through a couple of settings, what you should do first time buying it in case you have not received any pre-configured package. Fairly easy. And I'll show you what else is needed to connect it to your Raspberry Pi VenusOS installation, so you can talk in between your tablet or Raspberry Pi and the Multiplus. And from there, the sky's the limit. We will be having multiple videos, hopefully coming out also over the next couple of weeks, a month, talking about the Node-RED, having some basic configurations, as I mentioned already a couple of times. And this video purely just focus on the Multiplus, first time taking it off the box. Well, I'm not showing you the box, boring, but I'll show you what you will need to connect. Battery, power of the outlet or breaker or whatever you have at home or wherever the installation will be, as well as what you will need to connect to your VenusOS. And maybe there are a couple of sensors, maybe other stuff. So all those things I want to cover in this video. And before we start, I want to let you know why I picked this Multiplus II 48 volts. So as you know, there are multiple Multipluses out there from Victron, a variety for all different use cases. So I was in between having a 12 volt or a 48 volt Multiplus. And in my case, I decided for the 48 volt Multiplus. So if I would have gone for a camper van built out or anything which has a native 12 volt, which has already a 12 volt car battery where you have your DC to DC charge and everything else built in, I would have gone with a 12 volt Multiplus. But in my case, I went with a 48 volt Multiplus, just purely because I plan to install this either, in your off-grid garage, in your off-grid shed, maybe in your house where you live with solar panels on top and stuff like that. And you want to just store the power from the solar into a battery, and also you want to attach it to different outlets or whatever. There's so many use cases out there. My use case is I want to have it installed in my home, want to use as much solar as possible. Those kind of things do not exist yet, so there might be something coming within the next month, who knows. But I want to be prepared. I want to also play around with the VenusOS on the Raspberry Pi, as well as what this Multiplus is capable of, in combination with automation, Node-RED, etc. Those kind of things are super exciting for me, and that's basically my focus for here. As I mentioned, if I would have gone with a camper build-out, I would have picked up a Multiplus 12 volt system. Just pure because it's way easier. You don't have to work with step up, step down converters and stuff like that. Nothing of that. That just makes it way more complicated. And I didn't see any quality step down converters from 48 volt to 12 volt or 24 volt. All of those are, I don't know, the quality is not really promising, but it would work probably. In case you want to do that, it would work. When I say quality, I mean from Victron or someone else. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I only saw those Chinese, very cheaply made converters. So I don't know, maybe they're good, maybe not. I have never tried one, but it's just my gut feeling, and the research I did was... Anyways, I think you get the point. 48 volt it is, but everything we do in this video, but also in the follow-up videos, is similar or will be the same when you apply it to a 12 volt or 24 volt Multiplus. So I think the first thing we'll do is connecting everything, because that's the most important, and therefore we need a couple, well, tools is the wrong word, but it is kind of tools. Therefore we need a screwdriver for sure. For me, I just have it on my bench at the moment, just laying flat. I will do the installation on a wall or something which I will prepare later on. The first things I wanted to do is just getting it out of the box, putting it on the bench and connecting everything properly and configure everything properly before I continue. And that's what we'll do. So the first part of this video will focus on connecting everything. The second part will be the configuration itself, so the basic configuration we need to do with the Victron application. And then the next step will be, we will be looking at plugging it into the VenusOS, and do we need to configure anything? Does it work out of the box? And then everything else will be future videos, because I don't want to expand this video too much, but those are the things, and I think let's get started with that. The intro is long enough. I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course, please subscribe to the channel if you want to stay on top with those videos and if you want to see more of this stuff. And if you have specific questions which I can maybe incorporate here, I would love to do that. I've not forgotten any other questions which I received over the past couple of weeks, a month. I'm working on multiple things, multiple work streams here, so I hope that's okay, step by step, and enjoy the video. Here it is, look at the beauty, and you can see I have already some wires connected here because I want to show you what I did connect. And of course, just keep in mind there is a bunch of other stuff, instructions, there's a sensor included, there's a bracket included and everything else. I have, as I mentioned, just laid it down here on the table, and what we need to do first, we'll take a Phillips head screwdriver and we'll undo those 2 bolts. Make sure you have nothing connected, it's off in the 0 position here, and take this off. That's what we want to look at. So let me try to zoom in, let me try to get everything sharp enough so we can see it and read it. What we can see here, besides that, yes, I took already out some of those rubber grommets, which are for water sealing, or for the elements, to protect the elements. And usually you would take them out, cut them to size, and then slide them over the wire. I haven't done that yet because for me this is, for now, just testing out, and when I do the final installation, that's something I need to do. What I want to do next is just having the basic wires connected, which I need. So here on the left side, AC output, here AC input, and we see this blue wire here, or this blue network wire is the VE.Bus. It's, as much as I understand, a normal network cable or patch cable you can use. I bought the Victron one. Links for everything what I used here in the description below, of course. Then we have here the temperature sensor. Let me straighten this up a little bit so it's easier to see. There we go. I think that makes it easier for you to see. So that's the temperature sensor here. We do have anything else connected. The remote, if you can see that below here, the remote on off, that's something which I did not change, that's how it came. We do have the battery positive, battery negative over here, and that's pretty much it. So let me talk about the input really quick. So I have a special wire which I used here, and I'm just using it to connect to the wall outlet at the moment. Of course, this is something, depending on your configuration, you might just wire this one to your breaker. Similar to this AC in, we have an AC out one. I'm using, for test purposes at the moment, a yes, that's correct, a receptacle, which I just cut the end and wired it in. So really quick, I did use some ferrules on the ending, so you can see it either here on the white one in here. I used them just to make sure that it's not only the little stranded copper wires are exposed, because you need some little pressure to push it in. That's first, and second, that it bites in evenly and not maybe something is bent or whatever. So that was very important. Victron is known for that. You should use, link in the description as well below, that you should use those ferrules. In this case, this is a square ferrule. And it comes in very handy, especially when you configure your DC to DC charger, or maybe your MPPT charger. From Victron, obviously. So we can see N, the white one, here in North America, N white, PE green, L black. There are, for older wires, might be a different configuration also here in North America available, but that's what I'm dealing with here. Then we'll talk about this nice blue wire. Let me zoom out again a little bit more. Here we go. Because this nice and blue wire will go, and that's something you will need. You will need the interface MK3 USB, which is, you can see, we will plug the blue wire in here, and on the other side it's, there we go, just a USB-A, which goes into the Raspberry Pi in this case. Or if you happen to have a Cerbo GX, that's where you connect it. All right, continuing here is the temperature sensor, and the cool thing about those, let me show you. Maybe with the top one, I hope it's easy. Yep, there we go. You just pull it out, and then you connect it, tighten it down with the screws here, and then you plug it back in. There we go. And that's how I did it with the temperature down here, or the temperature sensor, which goes straight to the negative of the battery. Speaking about the battery, I popped the grommet out so I can just slide it through. And before doing the installation, you want to slide it in correctly. And here on this side we have the positive, the negative, and be careful, it is a 48-volt battery, so touching it with your raw hand, what I just did, don't do it. That's basically what I did to my Victron Multiplus II. I want to show you one or two details right here. Because you see those wires, you want to make sure that you tighten them down so they have a little slack in here, just to give it enough slack. This is also, could be a little bit more slack to be honest, but make sure that you tighten those down just that they don't strip out and that there is no force here on those wires. Of course, if you want to have a ground, you should use the ground. And because you have not seen it yet, here we go. The Multiplus II. Alright, for battery I'm using the XAR New Energy 48-volt battery. You can see positive wires coming in. We have an extra fuse over here. And because 3000 is kind of the maximum it can pull, but it has some peak, the wire you use should be sized accordingly. So ideally you have a 1 or 2 gauge wire for that. That would be the ideal scenario. I'm aware of that I'm just using a 6 gauge wire. I'm aware of that I cannot pull more than a little bit more than 3000, just to be on the safe side. But when you do your configuration and you want to pull the maximum, including the peaks, you have to size it accordingly. And there will be another video coming out just about this battery pretty soon as well, so stay tuned for that if you want to subscribe to the channel as mentioned. After we connected all the wires safely, be careful when you've connected everything afterwards to plug in the power outlet. I didn't go through how you connect the battery, I hope that was okay. But next step is we'll use this beauty. So that means the blue network cable goes into the Mark III USB Victron connector, and the USB of this one goes into your computer. First we'll do the computer, because computer first means we'll need to configure a couple things in case it's not pre-configured. So that means we need to go next to the website. I opened this one already, so that means since it is a Multiplus II, we'll go on downloads, and then we'll scroll down and we can see VE configuration tools for VE.Bus products, and we need to download this. So that means you click on it, download it, and when you've installed it, come back and open it. When you open the first time, there's a dial coming. Only do it when you're professional. So please select communication port. So that means we'll go port selection, then we open this one here, and then we can see, in my case it's a USB, so yours as well, COM3 USB serial port. Let's see, I'll click on that one. It detected the MK3, perfect. Now we just focus on this and what's happening here. And just to make you fully aware, there's a video out there, I tried to link it here, but also in the description below. You can follow them step by step, because I did already exactly what they did with the configuration and my 48-volt battery. But you might want to do that as well, because you can mess up the configuration here and you do not want to mess it up. Just want to be straightforward with you. That thing can destroy it. So ideally you follow their video, but let me go through it really quick. What I did, we were looking into the system frequency. Don't need to do anything here. You do not want to adjust anything for the grid unless you know what you're doing. In terms of inverter, we are in North America, so we want to have the 120, a power assist, and we can also configure here the DC input low shutdown as well as the DC input low restart and the low pre-alarm. So those kind of things we want to configure. And then charger, we can, or we should definitely have it enabled. We should have we should not use the weak AC input. That would mean that you would have a generator for that part. We could use that one. And we have the charge curve fixed, and then we can adjust absorption, float, of course the charge current, and also repeat absorption time. That was pretty good explained in the other video. But this applies to my battery, so that's good. That's all I did, and that's pretty much it. There was nothing else I did here. And then you just send settings, and that's all you do. So when you send it, the first time, send all settings. And in my case, if I changed anything here, I would now send, say modified settings only. Now, when you send your settings to your battery, you want to unplug this USB and you want to plug it into your Raspberry Pi. And that's what you were all waiting for, right? All right, now we're going to the Raspberry Pi 4. I mean, in my case, Raspberry Pi 4, maybe yours is a Raspberry Pi 3 or 2. When I go to menu, I can still see my 1-wire and Raspberry Pi processor temperature, that's all. So, taking the USB and connecting it straight into my Raspberry Pi. And what that means, hopefully when the Multiplus is on, it should talk already with the Raspberry Pi and pop up here like it just did. And that's what we want to see, and that is good. So now we can go into the Multiplus. Now we can see a couple of things in here, or even say, I don't want to charge at the moment, just the inverter on. So now you heard it probably clicking in the background, because it was charging the battery. I don't want to do that at the moment. So when I go to pages, I should see more here. Great. So we can see we have the battery. Now it shows information because the battery is connected to the Multiplus. And it's in an inverter function at the moment, as you saw. So when you go here, it goes into the system, and then we have an AC load connected, which is the Multiplus itself. So now we can see the, is that correct? Yeah, nothing else. We can see that's the power consumption of the Multiplus standby. And no input. Input means the grid, basically, which I just turned off. Anyway. When I click on here, I can turn it on and off if I want to. When I turn it on, at one point the clicking should come back. So there's always a clicking sound happening. And then we can see, oh, there's the grid. You can see down here is even the other temperature sensor, which I have to figure out because it's lower than I expected, because here the 1-wire is laying here on my desk and this one is just on the ground here. So I don't know why there's such a big difference. Need to double check on that connection, maybe reconnect it. But here we are, and that's pretty much it. So that's how you connect it, and that's how you see it without any big knowledge and configuration needed here into your VenusOS Raspberry Pi configuration. What's missing is a percentage for the battery, and that's something which will come pretty soon. I need to connect a shunt, which is taking over that part, connected as well to the Raspberry Pi. Additionally, I'm realizing I'm running out of USB ports on my Raspberry Pi. If you have the same issue, because now I'm getting to the point where I think it's just 4 USB ports I have on my Raspberry Pi 4 are being used. So a solution for that will be this little adapter here. The isolated 4-port USB to TTL UART FTD. Let me show you. So we have the dupa.net, and this guy, Simon, he is Italian. So he's from Italy, and this part actually was sent, I believe, also from Italy. And he was so kind and providing this this unit to me, which in my case comes with a USB-C. So I have a USB-C on this side. On the other side, I use a normal USB-A, plug it into my Raspberry Pi, and then I have up to 4 of those connectors, which are the connectors basically from your shunt, from your MPPT, I believe also from the DC to DC charger, and you can just connect it to this one. Just one USB port on your Raspberry Pi, and you can connect up to 4 different Victron components here, and that's what I will do. So I will still be able to connect everything, because that's pretty important. And the great thing is isolated as well. So I think I did a configuration here with the JSD mounted, because at the end you would like to have this one here. JST XH connectors, and maybe you want to order also a few of this wire. So that's about it, I think. Did we cover everything? I hope we covered everything, but what I wanted to show you what's coming up in the next videos, because I did that configuration already, is talking about the Node-RED dashboard. And I just threw some stuff together. There's no automation in it yet, but this one is just taking information what I've connected to the Raspberry Pi. A brief rundown, so we can see this is a home board. That sounds wrong. A home dashboard. We have the relay 3 because 1 and 2 are used differently. One is generator setup at the moment, and 2 is for temperature, and 3 is the manual. So I can display the manual here. I don't know if you hear it. I hear it. We have the Raspberry Pi processor temperature, we have the one-wire temperature, and then everything written out here as well. This one, and also the battery temperature, which is also displayed over here, as well as the battery voltage. I just selected the gauge graph here for that. We also have the Multiplus control here, so I can turn it on, off, or whatever I want to do. So when I turn it on, oh, there it is. It took a while. It usually takes a couple seconds. So I can control it over here. You can change that setting as well if you want to. Then we have the battery temperature as I mentioned, and also a history about the battery temperature here. It's not the prettiest yet. I'm still working on some other configuration. This is the dark mode as well. Just want to give you a little preview of what's coming in the next video to get to this point for a little easy basic configuration basically. And that's how I connected my Multiplus at the moment. So let me know what you think about that. Maybe you have done it differently, similarly. Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, as mentioned a couple times already in this video, if you want to see more stuff like that with the Node-RED, with other configurations we're doing with this Multiplus, and we'll just go from here and figure out what's happening. But the system is growing, the system is getting more components, so every time we do now the Victron VenusOS updates, we will have more stuff to test on top. I'll keep that stuff in mind as well, but you want to get to a system which is, just easy accessible, works great, and besides this dashboard here, you can use on your phone, but it's also accessible via your VRM console, so remote, fully remote, which is amazing. Of course, you need to have Wi-Fi here. I hope this was informative, this video. Yeah, let me know any questions you have in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Cheers!